Alright, before we dive headfirst into this circus, let's lock in the basics. Smash that like button. And make sure you're subscribed. Share this video with your people, and don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. 'Cause this one right here, buckle up. It's a ride straight through chaos, ego, and hypocrisy. Tiffany Dash style. Now, check this out. I stumbled across an old clip the other day. Relic, we're talking 3 years back, ancient history in internet years. But here's the kicker. It slaps even harder now than it ever did before, especially with what just went down this past Easter. The timing, flawless. The irony, off the charts. Honestly, you couldn't script this any better if you handed it to HBO writers with a blank check. Oh. So, tonight, we're rolling the tape back. Dusting off a moment that aged like milk left in the sun. Picture it. Early pandemic. Peak Zoom chaos. The whole country still figuring out how to mute themselves. Half of America looking like they were broadcasting live from the inside of a toaster oven. And right there in the middle of the glitchy screens and pixelated faces comes Tiffany Neverone to miss her chance at a dramatic monologue. She logs on, chin high, with that air of destiny, and delivers what she framed as breaking news. Board of Trustees and residents, I need you to understand. There's absolutely no trespassing at the old village hall. The way she said it, you'd think somebody just broke into Area 51 and waltzed out with alien blueprints. She hammered that word trespassing like folks were plotting. Ocean's 11 at some dusty government building no one actually cared about. Then came her big reveal. Tiffany claimed she had received disturbing reports. According to her, people had been sneaking into the old village hall without clearance, and she wasn't about to let that slide. Didn't matter if you once worked there, lived down the block, or just got curious and peeked inside. No badge, no entry. And then, with all the drama of a soap opera cliffhanger, she asked, how did they even get the access code? That was the moment it clicked. This wasn't about securing a building. It wasn't about safeguarding property. No, this was about power and control. Tiffany wasn't protecting a hall. She was staking her territory. She couldn't stop. There, she doubled down, announced that anybody caught inside without approval would be prosecuted to the fullest extent. Calm down, sis. This is a rec center, not the Treasury Department. But she cranked it up even further. Claimed she had reports of someone strutting around in an official village uniform after being fired. Not just anyone either. This was someone she personally let go in 2021. Right after bulldozing her way into office and flipping everything upside down. In her words, that wasn't just shady behavior. It was impersonating a government employee. The way she said it, you'd think this guy threw on a village polo and tried to run for president at Walgreens. Tiffany laid it down cold. Once you've been fired, you no longer work for the village of Benton. No wiggle room, no nuance. A decree sharp as a gavel. Fast forward to Easter weekend, and who's front and center outside the village building is handing out food, taking pictures, and posting up like she still owns the block. Yup, Tiffany. Not the mayor, not staff, not even a city volunteer. But she had the mic, the crowd, and the photo ops, all like she never left office. So let's line this up real quick. Somebody else puts on a polo, it's a felony. But when Tiffany does it, suddenly it's community outreach. Please, that's not public service. It's cosplay. Tiffany slipped right back into her Mayor Barbie outfit for Easter weekend like it was a themed photo shoot. Straight out of 2020, let's keep it real. That old Zoom speech was never about rules or protocol. It was about ego, that trespassing energy. It was don't you dare outshine me energy. And if you remember 2021, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Her relationship with Kamal was falling apart, and all that mess spilled right into her politics. Maybe that fired employee was getting too much attention, too many eyes, too much spotlight, and Tiffany wasn't about to share. Because when ego and public office collide, it's disaster every single time. And here she is now violating her own rulebook in broad daylight, on camera, with no shame whatsoever. The hypocrisy isn't just noticeable, it's glaring. She built the rules and then smashed them herself. Boldly, loudly, wrapped it all in fake humility. This isn't leadership. This is narcissism in heels. And look, growth is possible. People can evolve. But we're watching here? This isn't growth. It's regression dressed up as a comeback. Tiffany's Easter cosplay wasn't a community event. It was a self-staged production, a rerun of her own greatest hits. The irony is almost poetic. She banned others from trespassing. But she's the one who broke into her own myth. And that's the show, folks. Tour time. 1 minute, Tiffany's laying down the law like she's Judge Judy. The next, she's throwing herself a press conference in front of the very same building she said no one could set foot in. You can't make this up. The kicker? Internet never forgets. That old clip's still floating around, preserved like a fossil. And now, it's a textbook case in hypocrisy, masterclass in do as I say, not as I do. Tiffany's ego is untouchable, her theatrics, unmatched. Selective memory? Wild. Here's where we land. Tiffany isn't just bending rules. She's rewriting the whole book, banking on us to forget the pages we already read. But no, we're not new here. We've seen it, we've clocked it, and the receipts? Always circle back louder. Now that's the breakdown, but I want your read. Is Tiffany just being petty? Are we watching a slow-motion meltdown? Or is there a deeper mess bubbling underneath? Hit the comments. Smash that like if you caught the hypocrisy. Subscribe if you're still riding with us. And definitely send this to anyone who remembers. When Tiffany actually had a job description, but Tiffany, weren't you the one screaming that once you're fired, you can't rock official village gear? Well, surprise, you've been fired. You're unemployed. You're not mayor, not supervisor, not chair of anything. Yet here you are parading like the Duchess of Benton, waving to crowds like the paycheck still clears. Make it make sense. Quick pit stop. We need to talk makeup. 'Cause ma'am, that foundation is screaming. Neon caution tape loud. Not blended. Not smooth. Just melted on your face like a traffic cone in July. It's 2025. And you're still rolling with base that looks like it was applied during a blackout drag brunch. Less public service, more public safety hazard, but the real gag. Tiffany has spent years preaching that impersonating a village official after termination is a crime. And yet here she is, cosplaying mayor like Comic-Con sent her a VIP pass. You said the law applies to everyone. So when's your mugshot dropping, sis? Because right now you're starring in your own parody, and we have to talk wig? $1,000? Let me repeat, $1,000 for that? That thing looks like it was crafted with glue sticks, yarn, and overdue bills. It's giving Dollar Tree cosplay with a side of despair. Tried to be blonde, landed somewhere between dishwater and depression. That's CEO realness. Your stylist owes us an apology. And if you actually went to cosmetology school, the school owes us an apology, because that lace front is peeling up like rent. If you paid $1,000 for that, you didn't buy hair, you financed a cry for help. Baby, no. Just no. Now, jokes aside, let's zoom back out. You are not mayor, not supervisor, no title, no office. Yet you keep crashing community events, posting up in front of buildings you no longer run, smiling for the cameras like it's 2021. That Easter gig? Not a comeback. Not a service. Just cosplay with a side of delusion. And the funniest part? You dragged somebody for wearing a Dolton hoodie, acted like they hacked the Pentagon. Girl, it was probably laundry day. But you turned it into a national security crisis. Classic Tiffany take, something small, crank it to DEFCON 1, then act like you're the victim. Let's rewind the receipts. June 7th, 2020, 1 year in power. Fast forward to March 2024, gone. Poof, off the map. Meanwhile, the same folks you tried to silence, thriving, and you, still clinging to old titles, waving around a wig that's been through more scandals than your council meetings, and now this ice rink idea naming it after your daughter? That's not legacy, that's vanity. You're not Caesar building Rome, you're just Tiffany building cringe. The makeup, tragic, the wig, catastrophe, leadership, act, expired. What's left is ego wrapped in cheap lace. Here's the kicker. You could pivot. You could stop with the cosplay. Stop living in reruns. Stop remixing lies into fairy tales. But until then, you're not running a government, you're running out of excuses. And the clock, louder than ever? All right, I'm done for real this time. But before you bounce, smash that like, subscribe, share this video. And if you're feeling generous, hit that join button to keep this tea piping hot. Your support keeps the shade sharp and the truth undeniable. Tiffany Henyard, that wig, we are begging you. Bye.